This is Mike. I'm at one of my other little favorite places here in the city of Gatlinburg. Is up behind the village, place where I work at actually. I'm up behind the bathrooms up this little roadway, and you come right around to the old White Oaks Flat Cemetery, the old Gatlinburg Cemetery here. And the older section is out up here to the left, up on the hillside, where a lot of the original families like the Carrs, Kerrs, Reagans. This little section over here is dedicated to the early Ogles that came and of course settled most of Gatlinburg and early sections of the Sugar Lands. But you've got other families in here too, like the Connors and some other names that very early on. So here's the section. It's all got the Ogle headstone there. It's all rocked in levels. And of course, some of this is more modern graves. And of course, there's the Carters here, and there's other families from early on. Let's walk on over this way. Of course, you got Wiley Oakley's buried here. He's buried up over there. Some of the early Huffs. You got clans you're maybe not familiar with. There's some early Millers in the Gatlinburg area. Of course, you got the Wombeys and several different spellings. There's the O-W-E-N-B-Y. Of course, my grandmother spelled it O-W-N-B-Y. Some Dodgens and different names. It'd be nice next time there's a bunch of 6, 7, 8 strong men walking up this way. Sure like for you to turn this Maples marker back over. This thing probably weighs 400 pounds or more. It'd sure be nice to flip it back up on its correct side so people can read the names of the I think David Crockett Maples group is there. Of course, we've got another one here that's slid off at the base. It'd take 4 or 5 strong men to be able to pick that one up. My younger days, I could have done it. That's an Ogle grave there. But some of the interesting graves that's known to be in this graveyard is up here in that tree line right up there. Of course, here's some more of my distant cousins. Here's David Crockett Maples, who lost one leg helping people. This is David Crockett Jr. here, and he was a postmaster and mailman for Gatlinburg. And lived up going between the Sugar Land Visitor Center and going toward Laurel Falls. He lived up there on the right. Here's E.E. Ogle. He had the first store in Gatlinburg, right where Mountain Mall is today. He was married to, I think, one of Robert Cardwell's daughters. She's there. He was also married to one of Richard Evans' daughters, or Jacob Evans' daughters, I'm not sure which one. But there's Hannah there. Then you got, of course, got tons of old Ogles, you know, here. Here's Sarah Ogle, the wife of William Connor. And of course, William Connor was probably one of the first settlers of the Sugar Lands. It's sad when stones get knocked over like that, but that happens. At least they don't have cows up here rearranging them. Here's a marker to Timothy Reagan, the first Reagan in the area. See that? And his sons, Richard, Daniel, Wesley, David, a lot of them settled, moved up into Roaring Fork on the backside, right there next to where the Bells cabins are, on Roaring Fork, around 1,000 Drips, that area right there. Here you got some of these old markers up here, some of them can't be read. Of course, one of the famous people buried in this graveyard, I always was told it was up here on the left, is John Carr. There's prophets in here too, of course. And there's one that Looks like I'm a Carter. But the you got the old John Carr here, who's believed to be the son of another John Carr, who's buried out in a cornfield out on Highway 66 down next to the river. A lot of people don't know he was the founder of Greenville, Tennessee, and was one of the first surveyors of the state. Here's another Connor here. Yeah, Connors is one of the first clans in this area, along with some Swaggertys and some names that you just normally don't think of today when you think of the most common names in the county. This section here has got a lot of old graves that have been pretty much long forgotten. And if it wasn't for the newer cemetery being added to it over time, this old cemetery could easily have been forgotten. Stones could have been knocked over like these right here. Here's Andrew Bracken's here, Bracken. So you got some of the old Brackens up here, but there's a lot of graves right through here that are, you would just think there were rocks in the field if you didn't know. I mean, there's people put a few flags here marking some graves, but when stones like this happen, they get knocked all the way down. It don't take long for grass to cover them over, and they sink down, and they're long forgotten. Of course, there's a lot of old Huskies in this area. Here's an Oakley right here, 1850 to 1894. Mini Oakley, and here's another Oakley, 1812, 1895. So you got some of the oldest clans in Sevier County history and Gatlinburg history, all up here on the left side of the road, left side of the cemetery. There's a Reagan there, and so no doubt Parton's in here as well, and other clans that lived all over this area, Esslingers, Kings. Of course, there's up there in all that ivy up there, the old Huff place. Actually, outside the fence there's a bunch of graves. Most of them are Huffs. On the hillside above, behind where they used to live, up there where I was talking about earlier. And then, of course, we got in the newer section, you're gonna find more names like Barnes and Ramseys, because the Ramseys originally were over toward Cott County. They made their way this way. Here's J.R. Ramsey. This is John R. Ramsey. This J.R. right here lived up in the Sugar Lands on the left side of the river, pretty much up the Dry Branch. First Branch is also, I just did a local vlog about this guy right here, and his son was one of the first guides in the Smokies, and all the while the Oakley was a boy named Bill Ramsey, and I believe that's John's boy. I'll double check that. So anyway, this is the old cemetery behind the mall, and of course the mall in the old days was just a church parking lot behind the church. Well, it's a pretty day here in the Smoky Mountains, but fortunately I can't go hiking. I gotta go work. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Come visit the cemetery sometime.